to roll the last of our three national display teams for the day. Over their regular European tour, and here they go, starting their takeoff roll. Those extra EA-330LXs on the Royal Jordanian Falcons, getting airborne to initially position before tipping in for a really high quality 4-ship aerobatic display.
Okay.
Formed in 1976 at Amman International Airport, what is now a 4-ship team, originally started as 3 pit specials S2As. The team changed to 4 fast and nimble water extra 300Ls in 2007, and since 2018 they have been operating the brand new extra 330LX. It's a modern and capable version of the extra design, is capable of an eye-watering plus and minus 10G.
And it's a team that's performed all over the world. It comes over to Europe pretty much in every display season, but they've also flown further afield. Many other Middle Eastern countries, of course. They've even performed out in the Royal Jordanian Falcons. So the team starting off in box formation, performing a quarter clover manoeuvre, rolling right and pulling through, and they'll be staying in this very tight box formation for an initial barrel roll. This is a manoeuvre so named because the aircraft are basically describing the inside of an imaginary barrel way inside of the sky. Watertight formation. This is led for the 2025 display season by Daniel Syed, who first joined the Royal Jordanian Falcons back in 2002. He is currently the Director of Operations and leader of the team. In fact, he first assumed leadership back in 2005 and has returned to the role on various occasions since. He joined the Royal Jordanian Air Force in 1992, graduated from its King Hussein Air College. 3 years later, as a fighter pilot, he has past experience on the Northrop F5 and the Dassault Mirage F1. So out from that wing over to the right, and coming back in down the display line, but we'll see a subtle change to the formation out of box and into T for Tango, and then pull up into the Tango. Watch them now as they go back into box formation with the 2 wingmen dropping back a little from the leader. They pull up as if to perform an ordinary Cuban 8 manoeuvre, but they're going to exit it still inverted with a painful negative G push.
The extra 330LX is produced by the aircraft manufacturer Extra of Germany, and is probably the smallest aircraft to display here today, with a length of just 23 feet and a wingspan of just 26 feet. Powered by a Lycoming engine of 315 horsepower. It's a Lycoming AEIO-580 V1A. And a very well matched 4-blade propeller by the MT Propeller Company. It's no surprise that this aircraft has been around for many championship winners across the globe. Yes, the extra 330 is still the mount of the French Air Force, Air and Space Forces national competition
aerobatic squad, the équipe de voltige de l'armée de l'air et de l'espace. But here we see the Royal Jordanian Falcons, again exiting inverted in front of us as they head towards the display line, and they're going to be performing this time an inverted turn.
Absolutely no fly-by-wire protecting the aircraft from the pilot's influence whatsoever. All push tubes, push rods and cables back to the rudder. Gives the aircraft a never exceed speed of 219 knots and a normal operating speed for aerobatics of 154. And what that means is if you stay below 154 knots, you will not overstress the aircraft with full scale deflection of any of the controls.
A design conceived as the name suggests by a German aerobatic pilot and aircraft construction in Casa Extra. And this is used so splendidly by the Royal Jordanian Falcons here as they perform a quarter clover manoeuvre out in front of us to reposition onto what we refer to as the E-axis. The A-axis is the display line parallel to the main runway. The B-axis is at right angles to that. They head away from us now to get ready for the first of the splits in this display. There they go, two to the left, two to the right, and this is their salute to you. This is the Royal Jordanian Falcons heart. And as they cross out there in the distance to the north, the two aircraft on each side turn back in towards the airfield. All of this, of course, under the regular command of the team leader, Janiel Zayat, as he calls his colleagues back in onto the main A-axis. And they're heading towards the display centre for a crossover. And we split as they do so. Three of the aircraft clearing off to the north, while the man who's been flying at the back of the formation, the number 4 pilot, gives us a chance to see something of the solo capabilities of the extra EA-300. The stop man is Ferhat Al-Waitat, who joined the Royal Jordanian Air Force in 2006, graduated from King Hussein Air College in 2010 as a fighter pilot, flying the F-5 and then the F-16 Fighting Falcon. He's been on the Royal Jordanian Falcons since 2021. It was at the personal behest of that very fine aviator, his late Majesty King Hussein bin Talal, that the Royal Jordanian Falcons were founded back in 1976 on the Peace Pit Specials. His intention was that he intended to promote the Jordanian family, peace and friendship to the world through the art and science of aviation. Watch now off to the left as the solo crosses over with the 3-shift formation. Pulling up for a loop on the 45-degree line. And the leader now be calling into a barrel roll. And as they complete the barrel roll, the solo re-enters. King Hussein, a very enthusiastic pilot himself, who for many years became a patron of the International Air Tattoo. and was known to flying himself in some of the aircraft from his royal flight, the likes of the TriStar and the Dove. Now the three aircraft, numbers 1, 2 and 3, performing synchronised stall turns off on the 45-degree line to the right. And now we see the leader and the right wingman going into mirror formation, the left wingman barrel rolling dynamically around their smoke. The two wingmen for this season are Sharif Hatouk and Ahmad Al-Quda. Sharif Hatouk has been with the Jordanian Falcons since 2016. He's their chief pilot at the moment. He's with the King Hussein Air College graduate as a fighter pilot, flying the F5 before he transitioned to the Air Force's transport fleet on the Airbus C295 twin turboprop.
As well as being the smallest aircraft on display here at Riyadh, it is the only one that can be flown on a private pilot's licence. With a maximum takeoff weight of just over 2,000 pounds and a cost of somewhere in the region of 350,000 pounds, plus the inevitable VAT. If you can afford it, you can fly.
There's always something going on in this display, so as the solo exits off to the half left, goes onto the knife edge to cross with the three ship running back in. In mixed formation now. Another in quarter clover lead manoeuvres are such a good way of changing display axis. And they split on the way down. All heading back into the vertical, showing us something of the outstanding power to weight ratio of the extra EA-330LX. The solo comes back in for a session of freestyle aerobatic manoeuvres up into the vertical and then tail slowing back down through his own smoke, transitioning into a spin, several complete rotations before a very smart recovery. And rolling off into the distance as the three ship gets ready for one of the signature manoeuvres of the Royal Jordanian Falcons. They're in big formation out in front of us. They pull up, they're still inverted as the solo crosses them, heading underneath them and pulling up behind them as the team begins to roll upright. As I say, the team comes from what's known officially as the Hashemite Kingdom of Jordan, and the manoeuvre they're setting up for now is called the Hashemite Break. Break, go! Equal vertical as the two wingmen go off to either side. The wingman I haven't talked about yet is Captain Ahmad Al-Quda, a King Hussein Air College graduate who's flown the F5 and the F-16. He's been a member of the Royal Jordanian Falcons since 2013. Extras all over the sky at the moment, but they'll shortly be reforming to crossing a perfect crossing display centre as the leader dives down behind them and the solo pulls up into the vertical for a series of vertical rolls. In 1992, the Royal Jordanian Falcons replaced their pit specials with the extra 300. They later upgraded to the low-wing 300L model before changing in 2018 to this, the ultimate, the 330LX. The trio of extras off to the left, the solo diving. Back in line abreast formation, performing a very tidy loop, rock steady formation flying, and then watch them enjoy by the solo, and also watch the transition from line abreast into big formation by the other three as the solo chases them down. Currently inverted, but soon once again to roll upright. There we go. And they're using a wing over to come back onto the A-axis. Now, Mark will see a very nice slow roll, hopefully, from another aircraft in the display, another propeller-driven aircraft in the display later on. This is going to be a slow roll in box formation.
One of the hardest manoeuvres we're going to see today, performed by a team whilst in formation, absolutely.
What makes this so challenging exactly?
It's a manoeuvre that requires all three axes of the control system to be used. So as they start the measure, it's the in the knife edge, the top end of the rudder comes in the inverted, the elevator goes forward to provide upward lift. Again, converting to top rudder and then transitioning to normal flight. However, because you've got two aircraft on the outside that are going or are describing a circle around the leader, quite often the wingman will be cross-controlled, so cross-controlled at the top of the manoeuvre. Very, very hard to fly in formation, and far harder than it is as a solo aircraft. But that entire manoeuvre took about 6,000 feet, so 1 nautical mile. Yeah, really difficult and quite uncomfortable for the two on the outside.
They're staying in box formation for the moment, and we're going to see them sort of back onto the display line for another repositioning cloverleaf, I think. Very close links forged over the years by the Royal Jordanian Air Force with our own Royal Air Force, and so in the year that saw the death of the late King Hussein, one of the highlights of that year's Royal International Air Tattoo here at Fairford was the site of his personal benevolent dove VIP transport, escorted by the 4 extras of the Falcons, and with a missing man saloon provided by number 6 Squadron Royal Air Force with its Jaguars. That squadron that spent a great deal of time operating out in Jordan. Well, we're coming towards the final part of this superb display. A cloverleaf manoeuvre used to come back onto the B-axis in front of us. They're setting up into what they call Concorde formation, and this is for their final manoeuvre. This is for their Concorde fan brake. We give you the 2025 Very, very polished indeed, wasn't that, Mark?
Lovely display, absolutely fantastic.
Before extras then recovering to Fairford. A wonderful display by the Royal Jordanian Falcons, but now we're heading back in time to World War II and to the Royal Air Force once again, and a sight we are delighted to be seeing, because as Mark was saying, we weren't sure whether the Lancaster was going to make it. Indeed, it didn't make it into yesterday's display, but it made a spectacular arrival here last night. And all is present and correct for to take its rightful place at the helm of our next display. They're going to be running in from behind us. It's going to be a crowd rear arrival and a chance to enjoy the magnificent engine note of no fewer than 6 Rolls-Royce Merlins in harmony. The 3 aircraft, Arrow Lancaster 1, Hawker Hurricane 2C, and the world's only genuine Battle of Britain veteran Supermarine Spitfire, a Mark IIA, Together, running in now from behind us, they form the Royal Air Force Battle of